Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for Wayne Gandy. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy. Welcome. We got the remix intro today. We got DJ Mess Up on the ones and twos. He is here. He will be here till the noon hour. Unfortunately for me and Big Kenny, but DJ Mess Up is in the building. Good morning to you. It is May 4th. 2 days after the greatest spectacle that we have seen in recent years, Pacquiao, Mayweather. You know we're going to talk about that in this first hour. Plexico hasn't paid his taxes. We're going to talk about old Plexico. Is he going back to jail again for his taxes? We have a great show for you. D. Orlando Ledbetter, of the beat writer for the AJC, covering the Falcons. Fireball Turnbull coming up as well in the show. Have you caught your breath? This weekend was unlike any other in recent years. We had the Kentucky Derby. We had the big fight. We had drama in the NBA playoffs. Great game between the Clippers and the Spurs. If you missed it, I don't know what to tell you, but it was a great game. Went down to the last shot, literally, in a great Western first round. I mean, felt like a championship, but it was the first round. Tonight, the Cavs and the Bulls start their series yesterday. We'll talk a little NBA. We got the draft that started on Thursday. It might still be going today. They got to draft everybody. It's a slow process. We got to figure out who Mr. Irrelevant is. I think he gets a pickup truck. I know the guy that gets picked right before him be mad that he get a pickup truck. I mean, if I'm the pick before you and we're the last two people, don't you really want to be last if you're going to get a free truck? We see what Mr. Irrelevant is doing and what kind of vehicle he is riding off with. We're here with my man, Big Kenny, and I've been trying to wrestle with what I was going to start the show off with because, on this show we do what we call the ocean, where I get to go off on people. But I want to make sure this is really my ocean candidate, but in the next 3 hours I'm quite sure I'll dig up somebody else to throw in the ocean. But I don't really want y'all to miss this ocean candidate. I don't want you have some ocean music over there. Maybe we can just start off. Can I start with the ocean?
And the founder of Mr. Irrelevant,
I'm not even looking over there, that guy.
Melanie, welcome.
Give me some of that ocean over there. Let's start this. You want me to make it up?
The final pick of the NFL draft,
he will.
also known as Mr. Irrelevant,
in the ocean. No.
Which is a significant milestone.
Can I get some? Just say no. Don't say
This year's selection kicks off the 40th year of
There we
Irrelevant
go.
Week.
That's the best water.
Throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
For the announcement of the
There we
Arizona
go.
Cardinals
Maybe she will, maybe she won't. I like that
Mr.
part too.
Irrelevant 40.
Okay, cut it. I was really just messing with you. I didn't need the ocean music, but I'm glad to see you on your toes, though. I'm glad. Oh man, I just had to start here and see if you can follow me. Louisville receiver Devontae Parker, 14th pick to the Miami Dolphins. At the 12th pick, the Cleveland Browns had the pick. They were considering drafting Devontae. They did not. Devontae fell to 14. After that, Devontae's mother, Renika Parker, decided she would open her mouth. And since I'm probably figuring that me and Renika are probably about the same age, shut the hell up, Renika. and all the rest of you parents out there who think y'all are semi-sports agents. Your comments about how you did not want your son to go to the Browns at 12 just cost your son a job, possibly one day. Because your son, as we all know in sports, we don't know how your career is going to go. And by you making that comment, the Cleveland Browns from now on won't even look to maybe pick your son up one day. What you don't know about sports, parents, is the people that are interested in you on draft day always are interested in you. Every team I went to were GMs and coaches that would have drafted me the year I came out of college. But you have now told this organization that, hey, I never wanted to play for you. Some of you, when that sinks in, you will grasp that the NFL only has 32 teams. You're already on one. When they let you go, everybody's not interested in your son or daughter. Everybody's not interested. And I think all of you think because everybody didn't want Jameis Winston. Everybody don't want the second pick. You're only hoping that one team wants you. Don't burn bridges. And I'm tired of having to come on this show every week with you sideline parents running your mouth about stuff you don't know anything about. Your son, ain't no we. We didn't want to go to Cleveland. Who the hell is we? I thought his name was Devontae. And that's what y'all are saddling these kids with, that take we out of the hood, take we out of this situation. It's just the kid. Let the kid rise to where he's going and let him learn how to bring you up. But I was going to end, but as you see, the Ocean, they only give me 90 seconds in the end. So I had to take that time because that was the one thing from Thursday night's draft that stuck. That why are you even talking? You made me thank my mama some more. Thank you, mother, for just supporting. You know, why are you on the mic? What would you have to actually say other than thank God somebody wanted my son? And if you didn't know, going 2 draft picks later is less money. For y'all people that don't know, it's 2. So 2 picks earlier is more money. That's how the draft basically goes. When you go to do your contract, the team tells you, well, pick 12 got this, so you can only get this. They slot you. Only people that don't get slotted are quarterbacks. Quarterbacks can be later and still ask for more. And that's why you should tune into the Sports Joc Show, so I can educate you that you want to go as fast as you can, as fast as you can get off the board to whoever wants you. But never burn a bridge with a team because you might have to see that team one day. And that might have been the team that, when you came up 5-6 years from now, wanted you the most. But you have burnt that bridge. Now, I don't mean to start off on a sour note. So I'm going to bring the funny man, Big Kenny, on to lighten up things. I don't think he's any relation to Renika. Maybe you know a Renika. Do you know Renika Parker?
Good morning, Sports Joc. No, I don't know Renika Parker, but I wish I did, so I could go by her house and punch her in the face. let me say this. As a talent, I understand people's desire to somehow make themselves relevant in your situation. Parents, friends, spouses, everybody wants the spotlight.
Yes.
But if you wanted the spotlight, go to practice, get up, hit somebody, make a crossing pattern. You know what I mean? When it comes to being a talent, go to the audition. Go to your acting classes. If this is the life you want, earn it. Don't bite pieces off of my success and then complicate things for me. Mm-hmm. Renika, you probably start every statement you make on the mic with "I think," which means that you have no experience with this. These are just your opinions, honey. And you know opinions, everybody's got one.
Yes.
And the NFL don't care about your opinion. This is based on your son's abilities. You just talking, trying to be relevant. and you end up making your son pay for it. And as a result, in a related story, her son is now taking Des Bryant parenting class. So, Renika, you got a slap in the face coming in your future, honey.
Yeah, just leave it alone. I just know that it's just so much of this going on today. When you look around, even when I was at my football camp 2 weeks ago, you should have heard the grumbling when I told the kids, hey, it's about 400 of you out here. Maybe one of you might make professional football. And all the parents, no. That's what the statistics say.
It's the reality.
I'm telling you the reality. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but the kids need to hear the truth so they don't sit here and waste opportunities like their college scholarship thinking they're going to the pros, because only 2% of college athletes, so that make about 0.5% of high school players, ever get a chance in pro football. That is what the statistics say. If you don't want to hear the truth, I don't know what to tell you. But for you, you're taking their dream away. I'm not taking nothing away. Talent rises to the top.
Exactly.
That's what really happens. If your son is talented, if your daughter is talented, I could have said that to LeBron James.
And he'd have made it
anyway. He's still been doing what LeBron James is doing.
Sports Joc, I used to teach a stand-up comedy class, and I would tell them on the first day, most of you just crossing this off your bucket list. You know what I mean? I mean, now, I really appreciate you being here, but to look at me and think, if he can do it, I can do it. Yeah, I can say that to you, and the mentality should be, if he can do it, I can do it. But the truth is, some of y'all ain't going to make it.
Right, it's like the DJ over there. He used to look at Ed Lover and Biz Markie, thought he could DJ. He can't. But we let him try, though. All special need kids need some help.
Everybody got a bench. You know what I'm saying?
But we're going to go to break. 888-926-7562. Sit back, get ready. We have a show, a great show for you today. We'll be back. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. Were you happy, satisfied? Right around the corner. We'll talk about that. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It is Monday morning. We are live coming to you from Atlanta. Where were you when OJ was in that Bronco? Do you remember? No? I was like, no. Y'all remember where were you, Big Kenny, when OJ was in that Bronco? Oh, you probably was high.
I was in the back seat on some, hey, call Al, bruh, and tell him just you in the car, and we gonna say I was never here.
Many people will talk about where they were when Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather met. 5'8", 145 against 5'6", 146. Small men. A lot of people at the fight party that I attended over my man Takeo Spike's house. They don't really realize how small these two gentlemen are. You know, they sit there and then they look at it when they show the tail of the tape, and some of the ladies were like, I'm that size. Like,
and just think, Mayweather's larger than Pacquiao, which made so digest that really fast.
How do they look so bigger on TV? They thinking these are real. I'm like, no, they look like two 8th graders. If you ever bump into them, you almost miss Floyd because of the size, and then you're like, man, that look like.
If it weren't for the Bugatti that he was driving with the 4-foot stack of money in the passenger seat, he would just drive by and be another dude.
This fight had all the build-up of any Super Bowl. It was a mega fight as far as being publicized in the crowd. As you can see on the Sports Joc page, if you're on it, there's different faces. I saw Denzel Washington. They had Beyonce and Jay. The Burger King man right there with Justin Bieber. Bieber had on a nice little suit. None of us understood the Burger King man, but I'm quite sure Floyd might have the Mayweather chicken sandwich or something coming out a little later in the year. Jamie Foxx just messed up the whole national anthem trying to find his note. When you take the earpiece, that's when you know he dropped the earpiece and he went into that church thing where he was trying to find that note. And the home of the He was looking for the whole thing the whole time.
And then he tried to go Apollo on us because you know how Apollo, if you sing a gospel song, they won't boo you. He tried to go Apollo on us at the end with "Praise Jesus, Amen," and we was all like, "This ain't a church song, Jamie. I don't think God want to be put in this. You know what I mean?
Listen,
people just be throwing God and all kind of stuff he ain't got nothing to do with."
He was probably backstage with Mike Tyson. They hit a couple of lines, and he just kind of lost it for a second.
And his pitch was messed up because of Mike's frequency. When he talk, I'm going to tell you something, Jamie. You go out and start like it's all fake, and you. And that was stuck in Jamie's head.
But we waited for this fight. We all felt like it was 5-6 years later. Lil Wayne right there with the Dream's ex-wife, Christina Milian. Go back to Lil Wayne right there. He is definitely dedicated to making himself look like an alien. He tells you in his records that he's an alien, and he is dedicated to the cause because if he didn't have a popular name and you saw this gentleman standing behind her, you would think it would have been photoshopped or something. But he almost have a full tattooed face. I don't know.
And really,
what's going on with him?
Who doesn't? Really, who doesn't have a full tattoo face? It's the end thing.
But there was a lot of stars. And if some of you were watching the fight and you were trying to figure out, other than Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf, those people in the first, that was billionaire row. Those are the people with all the money. That's why you don't know their faces. People with that kind of money, you don't really even know. That was that. Because I know a lot of people's like, well, how did they get those tickets? They invented the MGM. They were the people that built it from initial. They were just, you don't know those people. MJ coming in with his wife, looked like him and Tom, I know they got real high upstairs because if you listen to the interview with Tom Brady, he had been smoking some. He deserves a smoke.
Every now and
then for what he does.
This is the off season.
All those Super Bowl championships. Denzel must be going out for a movie part because he
Uncle Ruckus.
That has to be. That's a movie part. I don't know what movie, but he's setting up for a movie. You're going to see him in a movie. It might be Equalizer 2, something like that.
Right.
They're making an Equalizer 2. That's why I was
this is Equalizer 2, the rest home years.
Right. And it was just a big crowd. Beyonce, Jay wearing the tuxedo to the match. Just a star-studded crowd. They even when they started, they had P. Diddy and Mark Wahlberg introduce. As you know, they had a bet on it. I think Diddy won. Diddy had Floyd, right?
Right.
Yeah. They blew that the same night.
Was it half a million?
None of that money.
$500,000?
It's $250,000.
$250,000, which is even less. He went up to Mark Wahlberg like, "Can I get my money?" And Mark started patting his pockets like, "Hold on, bro. take this little piece of change, cuz, and go on with yourself."
Speaking of money, Mayweather, as you know, loves to boast and show his money. His mouthpiece. Even it was supposed to be like $25,000 for his mouthpiece. I don't know what that is made of.
Crushed diamonds and actual $100
Gold
flakes,
crushed diamonds, and actual $100
bills.
Who
comes up with this?
Which lets us know he's not foolish with his money.
Who comes up with this? You think I'm saying who sits in the room think, man, we got this thing for you, Floyd. Let's crush up some gold and I don't understand because I used to chew my mouthpiece. I was like Steph Curry. I sat there and gnawed on it and then I just threw it away.
The way this happens is somebody sitting around in the room like, what can we sell it? And they start coming up with ideas, and of the awful ideas they come up with, this is the best one that they have. And when he was like, okay, send me 4 of them, they were like, I cannot believe he went with the $100 bill crushed up diamond gold flake mouthpiece idea.
I don't know.
This is fantastic, dude. He wants 4 of them at $25,000 a piece.
And if you never had a custom mouthpiece, that stuff they stick in your mouth is like they take this wad of like clay and they pile it on to like a tray that looks like a mouthpiece, and they stuff it in your mouth. I feel like you're about to die.
Right.
And hold it, and it's like, no, it's going down my throat. Hold it, bite down, and then they pull it out. So how they got it to open up and stick some gold in it.
Oh,
I mean, they
what I'm
deserve some
saying,
money.
you know, it's gold shavings off of a gold-plated something and a $100 bill that was scanned on a printer. It's probably not a real $100 bill, and some crushed cubic zirconia. And Floyd is on some balling.
And the only thing that was exciting about this, and probably the most disappointing thing that I saw about the whole match, was before they fought, they kept showing the money. How much money this fight has drawn, how much money they making a second. It's like you have branded in people's mind, we're just in this for the money. You don't do that at a you've never seen a football game start with, here's the salaries of the people today. This is what they're making. The whole fight was about how much money. Okay, you said 300 or 400 million. All right, now let's see the fight. I don't need a second by second, punch by punch. It was like you were all wired into that, and then you watched the fight, Big Kenny, that kind of gave off that maybe y'all were just fighting for the money. I say that because it was the first fight I have ever seen in history where nobody needed a cold press on their face. Nobody was sitting in the corner where they took the little hard steel that they keep frozen and kind of try to keep the swelling down.
You gotta get out of there, Rock. He's gonna murder ya.
So we watched a fight where nobody needed a 10 count. Nobody needed a cold press. No, they really didn't even let you see the corner when people were talking in the corner. I thought that was kind of odd. They didn't let you hear any corner conversation, which made me feel like this was rigged because we're not going to actually be saying anything in the corner to get you going because we don't want to get you going.
Mayweather Sr. kept going, hey, you need to do better. Hey, you need to do better. Oh, yeah, that's great advice, Dad. You know what I mean? Is that all you got? You need to do better? Right. There's no other specifics in doing better that you like. You need to be more aggressive. Oh, that's what I was looking for.
And nobody got cut. You hugging. I mean, it was like.
I'll tell you how this fight happened. Hey, what's going on in Money Team? What's going on? Hello, Floyd. This is Manny Pacquiao. Hey, what's going on, Manny? I want to make a lot of money. You want to make some money? Yes, I want to make money. I want to make some money, too. You want to make $100 million? Yes, I would like to do that. Let's fight. Now, we ain't going to fight. But we going to do this Mayweather Pacquiao, and we going to get paid because I don't want to mess up my face. And, you know, I don't really want to mess up my legacy. So if you're willing to get in and make you $120 million, let's do that. Okay, I will do these.
And it was
and they showed up, and it looked just like that.
I thought at least in one of the rounds, they were going to fight. Like one of the rounds, they were going to just meet, throw some punches. It never happened. It looked more like a Olympic boxing match where you just get a point for every touch of the glove. Manny never was hurt. Floyd might have been hurt once on a punch for a second.
And that's because he's so unused to being punched. He's so unused to making contact. I'll tell you another thing to me that was very disappointing about this fight was if you say some of the things to me that Floyd had said to Manny, you got to prove that in the ring.
Right.
I'm saying you telling me you the best and you talking about how you dominant. Show me that. Don't tell me about it. Knock this man down at the very least. You're not, if you can't knock him out, knock him down. Punch him and make him know he's been in a fight. Let me see his mouthpiece fly out.
And Floyd's approach seemed to be, I'm going to win on a point system.
And he'll let you know.
That, like, I'm winning on a point. That's all I'm going to do.
And he let you know that's what he was doing.
And that's all he did in the biggest fight probably in the last, since Tyson Holyfield won, I would say. The biggest two names in boxing.
The biggest fight's going to be when I call my cable company and they done charge me twice. That's going to be the biggest fight.
We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
In the Ad Council. And now, back to the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. As we left you, we were talking about the mega fight that wasn't. Speaking of anticlimactic, I mean, $100. This fight was basically costing a person Some bars were paying $3,000 to $10,000 to show it in their bars. It was billed as a mega fight. The who's who of everybody was in the arena. The fight really wasn't as it wasn't even exciting as the crowd. The crowd seemed to have more, and they seemed to be bored at times. When you looked at the fight, it replays this week on HBO and Showtime, I think, because they were a joint effort. That's why Michael Buffer and the other guy, it's fight time, and then it was let's get ready to rumble. They was doing a joint effort. So both outlets probably, I think Manny is on one and Floyd was on the other. So that's why they probably had to co-join as far as showing the fight. Grandma Mayweather says Manny's got to apologize to Floyd for talking that idiot. Let's see what Bernice Mayweather had to say about the fight.
Anything for Floyd for his victory? Any victory present?
Yeah, he got 48 no.
48 no, is that his gift?
Did you feed him anything good before he went out and fight? He ain't never like.
You never what?
My grandson never used no drugs. I don't know about that other man. I don't know my grandson because I raised him.
Yeah. You raised him?
Yes. Did you feed him some good Michigan food today or what?
What did he eat before the fight? Eat something wholesome?
I don't know, I ain't seen him. I want to see him. I don't know where he at.
I haven't seen him yet. Do you think Floyd and Manny can be friends after this? Manny says he wants to be friends with him.
If he won't be friends with me, he got to accept Floyd. He got to apologize.
He got to apologize?
Yeah.
Manny does?
Yeah.
What does he got to apologize for?
He talked all kind of shit.
So you don't like him talking all that shit, do you?
That is Bernice Mayweather. So
she went to Renika school. Just all these parents and grandparents just coming out with their little opinion. Now, what if somebody from Manny Pacquiao's camp just came out of nowhere and flattened her like, don't you be talking about Manny, bow, and fed her the two-piece? She would have somehow invited herself into that fray.
I don't know. Bernice probably take that wig off and go to work.
And go with it. Now, I'm
And
saying
go with
now,
it
I mean, because she looked like she got a championship face under them glasses. You know what I'm saying?
And she raised Roger and Floyd's daddy, so I'm quite sure she had a lot of hell up in that house. She had to put
and they
down.
fighters too.
So Floyd Mayweather Sr. seemed like he was truly
Where you
handful.
where you think they learned to do all that throwing hands from? You know, Mama was their first heavyweight opponent. Okay, get in your corner, right?
I'm gonna have to learn to defend myself up in this house.
Mama don't even reach for her belt. She go straight with the combo.
Oh man. Oh man, Miss Mayweather, you can always count on Grandmama to tell you how it is. Now,
to keep it real.
She don't know no other way.
Yeah,
Grandmamas don't.
She kept it real. Some people would have been like, "Oh, he ate this and he ate that," and we had. She was like, "I ain't seen it." Raggedy Joker. I've been here 3 days. He ain't come see it, Grandmama. He gonna have another fight after this.
Oh man. Oh, here you have some fans watching Manny and Floyd from third story window. Let's see this video. Is there any audio to it? Just is Floyd and Manny up there?
No, they watching from somebody's TV set on the third floor.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Well, if you didn't know, the fight was basically only at the MGM. That's what, remember, I was telling about 2 weeks ago, don't go to Vegas and get mad if you go to your hotel and they tell you it's not showing. They basically close it down so that if you're not at the MGM, you can't watch.
Is that Vegas?
That probably is that inside the hotel? No?
Because I'm thinking if it's not Vegas, if it's another city, all those people out there could have maybe pitched in a buck apiece.
Got the fight.
And just came by the house and watched it. You know what I mean? That seems you're a fight fan,
right?
When you're willing to stand in the street and try and catch a glimpse of someone's TV on the third floor.
Yeah, they trying to see what's going on. They probably were staying at the hotel and kind Couldn't find the fight. I don't know what, but it was a spectacle.
If we could go back to the video, you look really, really close in the front, and it's Floyd's grandmama sitting down. She said she hadn't seen him, but this is ridiculous.
While out in Vegas, boxing champ Adrian Bronner. Remember last week, if you were watching the Sports Joc show, we showed him getting arrested or pulled over for DUI. He was at a Vegas hotel during this fight weekend where he got detained at the hotel at Tao's nightclub, which is over at the Venetian, I want to say, because I've been there. Says the cop pulled him, handcuffed him because he didn't like what he was wearing. Let's see what Adrian Bronner is wearing and how this went down. The security was saying that I guess him having jeans and T-shirts was not allowed in that restaurant at that time, and he was being resistant to leaving, so they handcuffed him. Something that he seems like he likes on him, some handcuffs. Once again, Adrian Bronner, who is about the size of Manny Pacquiao. If you really ever meet him, he's 5'6", about 140 as well, being escorted out. People have, I mean, I've went to pool parties where they like, hey, those shorts are not swim trunks. You got to go get some swim trunks. They do still have rules in Vegas, regardless of the amount of money. You could have a $30,000 cabana. Right. You still have to be in the proper swim attire or whatever they say.
And the point you made,
me and you are old enough to remember where there was true dress codes and you couldn't get in
nightclubs. Exactly.
Yes.
And keeping in mind, like you say, in Vegas, you could have a $30,000 cabana. Those are the general admission cabanas in Vegas,
right?
Where they have a billionaires row. There are people there with many billions of dollars who are willing to dress like they asked them to dress.
Right.
So you're coming in with your newly minted $750,000. Step off with that, bro. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can go ahead with that, and you really showing out when the police arrest you over jeans and a T-shirt. I'm just saying, what happened to, if you that big of a baller, why aren't you watching this in your room or at your estate somewhere? Yeah. Why aren't you at the fight? You're a professional boxer.
Yeah, you should have a ticket. You're Adrian Bronner. You should be somewhere.
You ought to be in the locker room if the Burger King can get in the locker room, dude. You ought to at least be able to walk down the aisle with somebody.
Coming out of Maryland last week when we left the show, riot, the curfew was 6 days. They just lifted it like a day ago in Baltimore, Maryland. 6 police officers have been charged with various on Freddie Ray. Isn't that his name? Freddie Gray, excuse me. Allegedly doing the arrest. Something happened where they don't even have the footage of it, correct? Am I correct?
They first they had conflicting reports of what happened, and then they came out with some video from around the city of the cops making what amounted to be 5 stops before he got to the station. He was pulled out on a couple of stops, restrained, had his hands and his feet shackled, but wasn't restrained inside of the transport
Didn't put
wagon.
his seatbelt on in the wagon.
And it's been I know growing up in Chicago, even back in the 70s, there was always the rough ride in the paddy wagon. They pick you up, they handcuff you. There was no restraints then. And they would take you down the roughest streets that the city had to offer at an accelerated speed, and it would bounce you around. It's all metal back there, so you would get some bumps and some bruises. Some people, depending on their balance or inability to balance, would suffer more severe injuries, and that's what they're saying has happened in this case.
And in this case, remember, Freddie Ray did take off, tried to run away. The arrest is being questioned whether they should have even been able to do that in the first place. Me and Big Kenny, I think, on the show has been trying to say this running thing, it doesn't work in your favor. The whole key to it is to live to the next day. And in several of these cases that we have reported on, there's been some kind of resistance. My thing is, hey, if I know I ain't wrong, I'd rather live tomorrow to be able to sue the city. for illegal, wrongful arrests or something like that, because these cops seem to be on the edge, and they're all losing their true nature, probably, when you put them in a situation where their heart rate gets up. And in this situation, they tackled him, put him in the back. They probably were doing, like you said, Big Kenny, throwing him in the back, like, oh, we're going to show you.
Right.
And let you ride and feel the bumps and things like that. I don't know if you can get them for murder, but I'm quite sure you can get them for manslaughter. I don't know if you can say it was first-degree murder or something like that, but it can be some kind of, first-degree manslaughter or something.
I think it's interesting, and now it's been years since I was directly involved with crime. You know, I'm at the upper echelon now, but I just call a lot of criminal shots. But I think it's interesting how dudes run. When I was out in the streets and the police pulled up, we looked like we were supposed to be where we were. Wasn't none of that looking panicked and running, because that means you guilty. I'd wave at the cop. Hey, how you doing, officer? I'm on my way home. You know, if you want to stop and talk to me, I'll talk to you. And if you act decent and like you know something, they'll let you go.
Yeah. And running now is just, with the technology they have, seems senseless anyway. I mean, they just saw you in the other camera.
And it becomes competition with them. It's like an attack dog. When you run, he thinks, okay, the chase is on, I got to take him down, and that's the way they go with it.
And they did hold a baseball game. We'll show that picture later in the show. The Orioles played a baseball game where no fans were in the stadium. I know the players was messed up trying to play that game. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show right after this.
Driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Before I bring on my guest, Coach Scott Ratliff, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. Just want to make sure I tell you all, go by a Taco Bell and get your free biscuit, taco biscuit. They're giving out free to anybody that drives up a taco biscuit. Just want to make sure you get your taco biscuit. Taco Bell, the taco biscuit. Taco Bell and the taco biscuit, yeah. On Cinco de Mayo.
Because nothing says Latin culture like the biscuit.
Thank you, Big Kenny. You see what I was coming at? Like,
Jose, we need to have a fiesta. Let's get something to eat. What would you like? You like the tortas, the tortillas? No, let's have some of Mama's homemade biscuits. Oh, just like she used to make when we were growing up on the farm. Mama never made biscuits on the farm, Jose.
Thank you for getting. I'm trying to figure out.
Mama never made biscuits. How did we get the taco biscuit? Help me. When does ground beef, seasoned ground beef, lettuce, cheese, and tomato on a biscuit make sense to you? Somebody in Taco Bell's advertising department is sitting at home like, Mama, I'm for real. They pay me for this stuff.
I was wondering how long you were going to connect what I'm saying.
Mama, they actually paid me for the idea is what I'm telling you. And she, baby, you know you don't put no taco on no biscuit.
And you, to me, it's a slap in their culture because you're releasing it on Cinco de Mayo for free as though it's a thing.
Listen, though.
It's like it's not really a thing, the taco biscuit. That's not giving any homage.
But when you look at the connection, the same dude that invented the taco biscuit has a brother that invents Floyd's mouthpieces. You know what I'm saying? And they're sitting around like, dude, we are geniuses. We need to keep finding stupid people to buy our stupid ideas.
Oh, man.
And if you buy a taco biscuit tomorrow,
No, they're free. Go in the morning, you get
you are a racist fatty. That's what's wrong with you. You are racist and you are a fat slob because you are willing to go to Taco Bell and get a biscuit.
Yeah, I don't want biscuit with my taco.
Can I get that taco biscuit? You got some mild sauce.
Here on the Sports Joc Show, you know we like to venture.
Really quick, what goes with the taco biscuit? How do you wash it down? I'd like a taco biscuit and cerveza, please.
I guess that's,
some tequila. I need a shot of tequila with that taco biscuit, man.
This is Amir. I don't know what we're doing, but tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo. Somebody, one of y'all, please go out and get the taco biscuit and let me know how it tastes.
Look at it.
Raise your hand. Who's going to get the taco biscuit? Who's going to be the volunteer? Okay, I knew you would. Go. Let us know. Take a picture when you bite it. See what's in it. And you get some habanero honey sauce with it, dipping sauce. These people are crazy. That is the craziest
because
thing right
there
there.
are sometimes when you wake up for a taste for habanero honey. I didn't even know that existed until now.
Oh, here on the show, you know, we always like to try to find all sports to recover. They found a sport that I know very little about, but I do have a gentleman on the line who knows everything about it. GAC, a school that I know very well. My daughter attends there. Coach Scott Ratliff, who is the varsity lacrosse coach, the assistant varsity lacrosse coach. Good morning to you, Scott.
Hey, good morning. How we doing?
Good morning. Are you going to get you a taco biscuit?
Oh, yeah, you know it. Southern culture mixed with a little Spanish culture.
Yeah. Southern culture mixed with Spanish culture. In California, they call that illegal immigration.
Well, Scott, bringing you on the show has enlightened me into something I had no clue even existed, which is the Major League Lacrosse team. They have Major League Lacrosse. I did not know. Who knew? How long has this been around?
It's actually, this season is the 15th season. So
15 years. Wow.
Yeah, it's been around for a little bit.
And who is y'all David Beckham? Do y'all have a David Beckham of the Major League Lacrosse? Is there a person that we should know?
Well, yeah, there's one guy. His name's Paul Rabel. He's kind of, I guess, what you'd call the face of the sport. He's got a lot of big time sponsorships. Financially, he's kind of one of the few that can pretty much make a living just as a lacrosse player. So I know he's got Red Bull behind him and GoPro and some other big companies. But, you know, the sport's growing, and that's part of the challenge is getting more of the players' names out there and, you know, growing the popularity.
And you yourself play for the Boston Cannons.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. How many teams are in the league?
Right now there's 8 teams. I believe they're looking at expanding this off season to hopefully go up to 9 or 10, and that's kind of been in flux. In the 15 years, there's been up to 12, 13 teams at one point, and down to 6, I think. So I think kind of probably like any professional sports league getting started, there's a lot of change and you know, different opportunities for growth. So either way, though, I definitely enjoy it and think it's very good for the sport.
Paul, good morning. This is Big Kenny. The NFL draft was just this past week. Does lacrosse have a draft like that? When does it happen? How many rounds do they have? And is the first round draft pick usually taken from college? Do they select people from overseas? How does that work?
Yeah, so they do have a draft. They do it around Christmas time, just maybe December or January. So they're picking players who still have to play their senior season in college. So you get drafted, it's spring sport in college, so you get drafted right before your senior season. And then the Major League Lacrosse is a summer season, so basically right when your college season ends, you could play in a college game Saturday, and then let's say you lose and it's the playoffs, you could play in a pro game the next day on Sunday. All the draft picks do come from, or for the most part, actually, I think there was one Australian taken in the past draft. But for the most part, they're all, college players from here in the States.
And so with them having to play their senior year, there is no 2 or 1 and done. You can't go be a lacrosse outstanding player and then just say, okay, I'm leaving college and declaring for the draft.
Right. Yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that anyway because, with the way that professional lacrosse gets paid, you're gonna want that college degree.
We're talking to Scott Ratliff. He's the assistant varsity lacrosse coach at Great Atlanta Christian. Scott, looking at football and over the last couple of years, how people have talked about all the concussions and things like that. What is the rate of concussion? Because there is great opportunity to run into each other, correct, in a lacrosse game?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a physical sport. You're not getting like the wrap-up hits like you are in football, but there are a lot of body contact. I mean, I'd probably compare the physicality more like hockey in terms of kind of hip checks and a lot of shoulder hitting. So from my experience, I don't think I've had any recorded concussions playing lacrosse in my career. There's certainly an opportunity for it, but I think it's probably a little less of a risk than playing football.
Is it one of those sports where you get to, say, high school and then you just go out for it, or is it a sport where kids already come there knowing how to play it?
No, it's definitely something that's starting at the youth level. Down here in Georgia, it's a little bit newer. It's very popular in the Mid-Atlantic, up in Baltimore, and then up into the Northeast in New York and Connecticut and a lot of those states. But no, it's massive at the youth level. At a lot of the schools here in Atlanta now that have kind of established programs, you're seeing very similar to football. They're starting with youth teams. So, at Greater Atlanta Christian, for example, you'll have your junior Spartans, and they're playing 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and then coming into the high school season. And in terms of building a program, we're trying to kind of follow the same footprints that football uses, where they've got guys in their junior program learning systems and offenses and terms that they want them to have when they show up in high school. So that's kind of part of the challenge of growing the sport and what we're trying to do at GAC and really, I think, a lot of schools across the state.
Do you have a lot of football players that come out for the team? I think somebody do some research real quick while he's answering this. I want to say that Wilt Chamberlain and maybe Jim Brown were lacrosse players back in the day, which is very interesting because they never really say that part of their lives. But one of those two, I think, were lacrosse players.
Yeah, Jim Brown, and he actually is part owner of the New York Lizards, which is one of the professional lacrosse teams. He's kind of definitely a big name in the lacrosse world and is always supporting. You definitely see a lot of overlap with football players. Football being a fall sport, lacrosse being a spring sport. It's kind of a great way to stay in shape and develop some different hand-eye coordination and different skill sets. I went to a high school at Walton High School over in East Cobb, and one of my teammates was Chase Thomas, who went on to play football at Stanford, and I believe is with the San Francisco 49ers now. So he was a great lacrosse player as well, and I think as the sport grows, you're seeing more and more of those guys that are starting to play both.
Yeah, I used to work out over at Walton sometimes.
Paul, you mentioned growing the sport, and you spoke of some of the challenges. Lacrosse has always been seen sort of as an elitist sport, a sport of the rich and privileged. How have you been challenged with trying to somehow minimize that image, or does it even matter that people look at it as an elitist sport?
No, that's definitely true, and I think that comes from the sport's popularity in private schools, and it probably starts up in the Northeast. It's the prep schools and a lot of the private schools up there are some of the kind of national powers. But truthfully, at its roots, lacrosse is a Native American sport, and it's the oldest sport in American history. It was used
something else the white man stole from Andy. Outstanding.
Hey, I wouldn't say we stole it. The best player in the game right now is actually an Iroquois National, so I prefer to just say we share it with them.
Yeah, and then tomorrow they'll have the wampum biscuit at Taco Bell.
Well, yeah. So anyway, it's a challenge. That's definitely part of the culture with it, and a lot of the perception that people have. My experience around it is there's certainly an extent of that, but I think as it continues to grow, you're seeing it pop up everywhere, and not just at the private schools, even in the inner cities and different places. And I mean that's great for the sport.
Well, Scott, thank you for calling in. And now, Big Kenny, we got a lacrosse connect that we can call on to help us learn a new sport. I'm all into learning new sports.
Exactly.
I'm a little too old. I might have to be the goalie or something. I can't do a lot. They do too much running in lacrosse.
My son plays lacrosse for James Madison, so
oh, really?
I'm somewhat familiar with it, but I still don't know. You know what I mean? just looks like him playing a lot of sport with his white friends.
Thank you, Scott, for calling in.
Yep, no doubt. Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach Scott Ratliff, Great Atlanta Christian, who has a great lacrosse team. I think they've won the state championship 2 or 3 times over the last maybe 5 years. So 888-926-7562. We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show in just a second. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. We like to thank, because I'll get a minus. It sounds like he said think. It says thank. From the mediocre producer. He criticizes everything. He never wants to have fun. He is the Scrooge that steals days. Forget Christmas. He just steals every day that he talks to you. But thank you, Scott Ratliff. I think I have worked out with Scott before because there used to be a bunch of men and women lacrosse players that used to work out with me over at Walton High School, XPE DSA. And they used to have like running tests. Introducing that there is a major league lacrosse league. There's major lacrosse league. I didn't know. 15 years they've been around. And they did Jim Brown. Did anybody find out if it was also Wilt Chamberlain? I think Wilt Chamberlain, because he was like he varsity like 4 letters in college or something.
Can you see somebody trying to stop Wilt Chamberlain with a big long stick? You know, he's added maybe about 5 feet of extension to his already 50-foot wingspan.
I know he ran the 400 in track. He played basketball, obviously. And I want to say it was lacrosse or something like that. He lettered in when he was in college. As you know, Thursday night, the NFL draft took place. Chicago, first time in a long time that it's been in Chicago, the Windy City. And the first pick of the draft, as we have kind of known since this year rung in, Jameis Winston, the redshirt sophomore out of Florida State University. First of all, let's show the picture. This is what Jameis posted right here with him and a plate of crab legs and a pretty lady sitting behind him. Both Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota decided not to attend the draft. I know the NFL didn't like that because they couldn't sell that they were going to be there, and that's the only reason they want to sell that you come. When I got drafted, I was at home as well, so I know that feeling of going back to the people that the whole journey started with. Jameis is from Bessemer, Alabama. Figure out who's the other great star from Bessemer, and I'll give you 5 cents. Anybody know? 5 cents? No. Anybody? He's a famous person. He's from Bessemer, Alabama. Big Kenny, you can't go. Anybody else? $2, $2, $3, $3. I got $4. No. Who? Bo Jackson. Oh, somebody's been keeping up. Mr. Vincent Bo Jackson is from Bessemer, Alabama. It's a small town. I mean, it really is reaching the back seat already through the town. You know how you're driving and you have to get some out the back, and then you turn back around? That's it. I thought Haines City was small. This is, at least we get 2 turns where you can't get it, so you have to reach back again. Bessemer is a small town, but Jameis and Bo Jackson are from there. Jameis putting this post up with the crab legs, as you know, a lot of controversy. And you know something? I'm happy that you did that, Jameis. People make jokes and make money off of you doing it. Why can't you throw it back in their face? The media criticized you for 4 months. Oh, you shouldn't draft him. Why? Well, you know he wouldn't have got some crab legs, don't you? His character. Who would go get some free crab legs from the man in the seafood department? Me. Oh, you know you shouldn't draft him. Why? He stood up in the table in the quad and yelled out an obscenity. Okay. Oh, you know you shouldn't draft him. Why? Well, a girl said that he raped her even though they was in a relationship already. Well, there was no charges pressed. So there was no charges pressed. He went between the police and the school board. Nobody found any. So when does that get to be dropped? Or is that a lifelong tag? Some girl said. When is that a lifelong tag to have on somebody? Some girl said. And that's not making light of rape in any kind of way. But how long does a man carry some girl said? He didn't get off of the crime. This is not like he went to court. Nobody took a bribe from what we know. It's not that Greg Hardy situation with the Panthers. She took him to civil suit. He gave her some money. She decided she didn't want to testify. This gentleman, the girl said this. Nobody found it to be fact. He never was pressed. He never had charges brought against him, and he still carries that along with him. So somebody please call in, or Big Kenny, maybe you can answer. How long am I supposed to be overshadowed by some girl said?
Well, in my case, Sports Joc, it's been about 16 years. I'm still dealing with the allegation, but she and I know what happened. I think it was interesting that you started off the segment saying that Jameis and Marcus Mariota made the decision not to be there at the draft. From all of the media coverage that I've been following, the NFL suggested to Jameis Winston that his coming to the draft may overshadow the fun and entertainment event it's supposed to be and bring protesters to the draft. So in an effort to not mar it with any protests, they asked him if he would stay at home.
And what is the protest stemming from?
Stupid people. Basically.
No, I'm saying what are they protesting?
They're protesting him not having been arrested and convicted of rape, and saying that he's been given special privilege to abuse and misuse women, and that the football system at Florida State and in the NFL is supportive of that culture. They don't care about women. They are dismissive with females. So that's what they were worried about, and they asked him if he would mind sitting it out. And, you know, I'm sure Jameis was thinking, y'all ain't going to have no crab legs in Chicago. So I'll stay at the house and no big deal. I'm going to go number one anyway.
Now, how is that true, though? Because it seems like the thing is to catch an athlete up. It seems to be to throw the athlete under the bus.
Well,
when Baltimore...
There may be people who want to throw the athlete under the bus, but the NFL didn't want the league thrown under the bus. Now, for the draft, this affects the entire league. It's not just Jameis Winston drafted by Tampa Bay, and now everybody boos Tampa Bay.
So we're not a brotherhood. We're not a family.
Apparently
okay,
not.
so then the NFL need to drop that sentiment.
And that's what's angering me.
Stop the sentiment that we brothers and we all got each other and how you should act.
And now you don't want him to. You don't want him to overshadow your draft. But I guarantee you won't have any blackouts in Tampa Bay anymore. No, because people are going to be watching this game.
You're not going to pull his jersey.
You're not about to pull his jersey off of NFL.com.
And he will be on a Monday night game, and he will be
on many Monday night games.
And you're going to sell his trading card.
And you're going to sell his trading card. You're going to have a Winston jersey and a hat and all of these things. And one day if he performs in the NFL like he did in college, one day he'll be a contender for the National Football Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. National Football League Hall of Fame, and you're going to make your money off of this man. Stop trying to play both ends. Either you don't like him and what he stands for you don't support, or, hey, man, he had his day in court. He was exonerated. Let's move forward. But you can't be playing the ends against the middle, and that's my problem with Roger Goodell and the NFL is they're always trying to – they want to capitalize on your fame and your talent, but they want to act like it's not cool for you to be
and you set a bad precedent because now you give the powers that be outside of sports even more leverage against the athlete.
Yeah.
That I can just go say something about you, and based on how the public feels about you, I can disrupt your career, and I never actually have to prove anything. I can just say it happened, and it happened. So now you're giving the power to the people, and then you're saying, well, how you think that a player can control everybody? Basically, he would have to live in a isolated life to be able to live the way you're talking.
And why do people outside of the NFL have control over input into what happens inside the NFL? These people are just regular citizens. They know nothing about professional football. But now they're dictating how a person's perceived and if he can go to the draft. I would like to research another NFL draft where the number one pick wasn't in the building.
It's been probably 2 decades. I can't remember the last time it was. Especially, I don't know if I've ever seen 1 and 2 not there.
And I was inclined to believe maybe they would say Marcus wasn't there because he had to come all the way from Hawaii, but people have come from Hawaii before.
Yes.
But just so there wouldn't be the racism uproar, oh, you asked the black guy to stay home, but you let the Hawaiian guy come. They probably asked him, hey, man, sit this one out for us. It's going to be over real quick for the two of you. You're both going 1 and 2. So,
and the amazing thing that I kept hearing through the media outlets were how everybody was like, Tampa is taking such a risk. And how are you taking such a risk, Tampa? Why would you do that? And I'm telling you, it's been some guys that have saved the world, in people's opinion, that get drafted first, that were still bums. It's all a risk when you draft a 21-year-old and give him $30 million. You did take a gamble. That's what the draft is about. You
could draft me as a grown man and you still gambling $48 million. I might not show up.
I might not come to work. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show. We're going to talk to my man D. Orlando Ledbetter on the other side of the break. 888-926-7562. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. The NFL draft is over. Thank God that they shortened down the time in between picks. Whew. You geniuses. You finally got around pick 1 was in the first hour and 10 minutes. Pick 15, first hour and 10 minutes. My pick, I was pick 15, was 2 hours and 45 minutes. I waited almost 3 hours to get drafted, and I was picked 15. Melvin Gordon went to the Chargers. He was on the plane, had made it to San Diego by the time I got drafted back in the day. And it was the same pick in the draft. When we went to commercial break, one of our producers asked, why would Jameis Winston care? He would care because of his marketing dollars. If you outcast me, if that is true, we don't know if it's true or not, where they asked him not to come. But if you won't even show me any support, why would Nabisco? Why would the companies that I really need to support me? Because we all get the Nike thing. That thing, the shoe deal comes regardless. As long as it's not murder, the shoe company is going to come. You know, they dropped Kobe for a year, and then they came back a year later after he won a championship. So they're going to come. But you're trying to get, the Energizer Bunny. You're trying to get middle America type companies to come and support you. And if the NFL would have the audacity not to encourage, because they can't they can't tell you not to come. But most of the time they try to encourage you because you're the number one pick. Jameis Winston, who stayed home. It just doesn't seem to be that old league where we will help protect you. It seems to be we're going to run with whatever other people say, and that just makes for a bad company, period, no matter where you work. Here in Atlanta had the 8th pick. They went out and got Vic Beasley out of Clemson. Our man that's on the line, Mr. D. Orlando Ledbetter, the beat writer for the AJC, predicted they would probably go defense because, hey, they got a new coach, and he's a defensive coach. Good morning to you, D.
Hey, good morning, Wayne. Thanks for having me this morning.
Thank you for calling in. Do you, before I ask you about the Falcons, do you think the NFL did any encouraging of Jameis Winston not to attend the draft?
No, I don't think so. They would have wanted to have him there. He's a former Heisman Trophy winner and one of the biggest names in college football. I couldn't see, the downside of having him there. I think it was his decision not to attend.
Do you know the last time the first and second pick of the draft didn't attend the draft?
You probably have to go back into the pre-SDN era. Or, when they first started doing the draft, they didn't bring the players in. So that's kind of a new last 15-year type thing. So, but no, I don't remember the top pick staying away from the draft ever. That's kind of ridiculous, and I think a bad move on his part.
Yeah, I couldn't remember when the first two. Seemed like a lot of guys weren't too much interested in being there. Here in Atlanta, pick 8, Vic Beasley, Clemson. In your opinion, is he that guy, or did they just know they needed that person?
He may become that guy. They did need a pass rusher. He can play on third down. I don't think he's a 3-down linebacker. Right now he can't play against the run, and when he's in on third down right now, he's going to be coming. So he can't drop in coverage yet. So he's it was a good pick, for what they needed. They clearly wouldn't need, and some of the other guys kind of hurt them. The fact that Randy Gregory and Shane Ray, had drug problems, that kind of those guys were rated higher than Beasley, and would have helped them out maybe more if they could have taken them. Their move was to go up and get Fowler, but it was too rich, and they didn't do it. So they got a good piece that they can build on, and Coach Quinn's a defensive line coach. It's right up his alley. If Beasley turns into a stud, it'll be because of, Dan Quinn helping him and Brian Cox helping him.
I was just about to ask you, D. This is kind of the same thing when they got Witherspoon, where they were trying to kind of take a player and make, hopefully he can drop back. Witherspoon was more of a hand in the ground rushing in college, and we tried to make him. Isn't this the same experiment?
Yeah, it is, and it's around the league because the league's changing so much. You always had to run and strike linebackers a little bit bigger at 250 and so forth. Now these guys are 235 and got to try to run with tight ends and running backs. And Spoon had trouble in that championship game against the tight ends, along with, of course, Nicholas. That's just a change in part of that position. That's an issue league-wide. It's getting linebackers that can attack going forward, and then also go back in coverage and catch it back or tight end on a route and, stick with him and cover him without hitting him and so forth. So, they've gotten better at it over the last few years, and Seattle's done it better than a lot of folks.
Looking at the rest of the draft, D, which of these players you really think they need to step up? Is it Tevin Coleman in the third, Jalen Collins, Justin Harding? Which player you think, as far as the team success, really needs them to emerge quickly?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think Tevin Coleman's going to be an easy fit in this outside zone scheme. He should be on the field pretty quickly. The cornerback, Collins, he's a tough kid. I don't really see a problem with him getting out there early, too. That's going to free up Robert Alford to play some nickel. That's a spot that's been a problem for a while. I like Grady Jarrett. He doesn't have to play right away because you got Babineau here still in his 11th year, but he can certainly learn all the tricks of the trade from, one of the better tackles the Falcons have had in a while. So those three. The Hardy kid's got to step up, too. He's a tough little kid. I think he can win the slot receiver spot. So they may have come out of this draft with 5 contributors right away. And then you got 2 projects in the 7th round, a big lineman and the big corner out of San Jose State, Akeem King. So it's a pretty strong-looking draft for the Falcons, even though you can quibble over Beasley Collins having some drug issues and so forth. But other than that, they got 5 guys that could go into the top 53 right away and maybe contribute early in their careers.
D, now the Falcons are constructing a $1 billion plus brand new facility, and ticket sales are going to be key in making that experiment work. What was the decision making that went into not drafting Todd Gurley? He's a local guy, top-notch pick, could have sold some tickets. What happened with that?
Yeah, they didn't even asked the general manager, was this a consideration? And they said they didn't look at offense with that 8th pick in the first round. So they didn't look at it. And, that'll come back to haunt them. The Falcons did this before when Dan Reeves and his crew said Hines Ward they didn't know if he was tough enough.
And now
that turned out to be so wrong.
They said they weren't interested in offense. That was obvious from last year's record. You know what I mean? So
right, but then they go and take another running back in the 3rd round. So they were interested in offense. So get the story straight. You didn't didn't take the best player in the draft, the best player available, you drafted need. And that's what they've been saying. So it might work out if Beasley turns into a player, but if Gurley's the next Adrian Peterson, which is what a lot of people were saying, then you didn't draft the right guy based on talent.
D, last question before I let you go. You spoke about Jalen Collins and his being in the drug program. Is this a player that if Mike Smith was here, the Falcons would have passed on? Is this really the first sign of Dan Quinn being a different kind of sheriff?
Yeah, no question about it. Dan Quinn, and also Wayne, don't underestimate the invisible hand of Scott Pioli, who they won't let him speak to the media. But he drafted Justin Houston in Kansas City in the 3rd round. So he's been down the drug path before, and so so is Coach Quinn. So hopefully they'll have this. They know whatever the kid's supposed to tell him or what's in place, so they have the medicals that the kid's not, addicted, and he can, push away from the drugs and so forth. So they've done that before. I don't think Smith even bothered to want to go down that road. So, there is some experience in dealing with these current modern day issues. So I guess that's refreshing on some levels for the Falcon fan base.
One thing before I go, Big Kenny, you got Dante Rump.
Yes, Dante Rump, whose nickname was Cupcake. Cupcake is his nickname. He got cut on the show Hard Knocks. Now he's asserting that he is homeless, and he's camping outside the Falcons facility in Flowery Branch, asking them to give him another shot. Now, this past weekend, the Falcons had their security ask him to move off of the property, and there's someone who lives near has offered up their front yard to let him camp out in. He's got a little tent and some signs like will work for food, or you know what I mean.
What can you tell us about this, D?
Yeah, I had heard bits and pieces of it. I was so locked in on the draft, I didn't see this. Certainly we'll have some folks on that. It's pretty disturbing that kid this young. Hopefully he, that's why we tell the kids to get their education while they're playing ball in school, because those degrees could come in handy. But if you're just going to school to play football, then we see these type of troubling situations. So, yeah, I don't know anything about it, Big Kenny, and thanks for bringing that to our attention. It sounds pretty disturbing to me that, at 23, the kid doesn't have any hope, after going to college in our college system. So
he's the product. He's the first product of that participation trophy generation.
Right.
That's what's wrong.
Yeah,
with
these millennial kids.
Right.
Yeah, they are. They are a little bit different. No question about it. If you can't play football, then you need to move on to something else. And hopefully you were paying attention in class there and got your degree and can do something else. You're not entitled to play football in the NFL. Sorry, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. D, thank you for calling in. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, Wayne and Big Kenny, you guys take care. Thanks for having me once again.
And
all right.
The word from Cupcake is soft.
Soft.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show in just a second.
They knew.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Thank you, D. Orlando Ledbetter, for calling in, helping us with the Falcons report. The Falcons, Vic Beasley, first round. They got a long way to go. Dan Quinn seems to be a new sheriff. I'm telling you, somebody with some kind of off-the-field problem like Collins, the cornerback, Mike Smith wouldn't have dealt with. But Dan Quinn, coming out of that Seattle system, is used to dealing with high-energy type guys. He's a defensive coordinator, and he definitely, like most defensive coordinators, they have a kind of win by any means necessary mentality. They don't look for the pretty. They look for the effective. So we'll see what happens with that. We left you talking about the Dante Rump situation.
And really quick on this, like you said, Mike Smith wouldn't have had anything to do with guys with drug issues. Mm-hmm. What precedent are we setting, not only for the Falcons, but in the NFL, when D made the comment dealing with these issues of this new culture? The established rules of the NFL have been established for decades. Mm-hmm. And now, should we be, just like with Dante Rump, should we be making an exception for people who pop on a drug test? You know that this is not something you can do. Right. From the time you play in college on up to the pros. If you get caught on a drug test, you're going to be in trouble. Now they're making allowances for it. This dude, Dante Rump, they call him Cupcake number one. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know where he got the nickname Cupcake from, but Cupcake don't make you think hard and ready. You know what I'm saying? Don't make you think tough and tenacious. It makes you think soft and sweet and something mushy. You're not ready for the NFL. And my point about he's one of these first people to come out of that participation trophy generation. He sees his being in the NFL as something he should be entitled to.
Correct.
Just because I want to play means that I should be allowed to play. And you figure that he's got a little video on YouTube. He's been going to the news outlets here in the Atlanta area, hoping to generate some of that sympathy support.
And that's why he got to try out with the Jets.
From the people that are going to whine and go, oh, you shouldn't kill his dream. What do the kids look? And he's hoping to get that pressure, the same pressure that will make Jameis Winston not show up for the draft, the same pressure that'll make Roger Goodell sit Ed Hardy, even though the case was dropped against him.
If you're watching on the Sports Joc page, here's different pictures of Dante Rump. He's out of Kentucky. He was defensive tackle at Kentucky in 2013. Last year when he tried out for the team, he, as Big Kenny has alluded to on Hard Knocks, he got cut. He has fallen on some hard times. He's been camped out in front of the Falcons facility. I don't know. He must have been like driving down the street. This is not one of those jobs that you get to like. They can let you pick up some socks. You know, you can't plea yourself onto a football team. I've always told you, Big Kenny, on the show, professional sports is not about anything but results. Your son, it's not a son thing, like I said with Doc Rivers. If Austin Rivers couldn't play, or when Doc Rivers feel like he can't produce, he's going to get rid of him. It's not going to be one of those things. It's one of those jobs that you either produce or you're gone. And like you were saying, I said earlier in the show when I was talking about Renika Parker, and I was telling people everybody don't make the NFL. And this guy thinks that he can plead himself onto a team, which show I don't know what he thinks that shows the players as though that is his thing, the
tent of faith.
The tent of faith.
The tent of faith. So he's got a field of faith with all of these tents in it, and he's supposed. And
you might want to get in some help because he messed around and jump off
a bridge acting like this. Let me tell you something that I
he's 23 years old,
and he can't accept failure. And he's been playing football long enough to have been drafted in the NFL. This is something that I thought about when I saw this. I remember one night hosting a comedy show, and a guy came in with some Big Kenny. I got my people with me tonight. And I really, really want to get on, bruh. I really want to get on. Can you please put me on? I got my people in the house, and hey, that doesn't garner you a spot on this stage.
Right.
People that get on this stage because they're skilled at making crowds full of people laugh for the entire time they're on the stage. You got one good joke, and you asking for 5 to 10 minutes to get up and slow down the pace of this show. Just because your girlfriend and a couple, just because your people in the house. And I'm sorry, it don't work like that. Get really, really funny, and then any night you come in, you can go on. Right. But until then, you're whining and saying that, oh, my mama really wanted to see me perform. It's not going to happen tonight.
No, it's not. And it's just we'll see how this story plays out for Mr. Rump.
And I gave the Falcons so much credit.
He would be better going and pitching a tent in front of the Kentucky facility and asking them for a job than he would be trying to get an NFL team.
I gave the Falcons so much credit for having their security move him off of the property. Sir, we have no interest in your little attention-grabbing scheme.
Right.
Please get off our facility.
Right. Looking at this first round, as we said, Jameis Winston went first. Marcus Mariota went second to Tennessee. Dante Flower Jr. went to the Jags at 4, Amari Cooper. I predicted this earlier when they got Michael Crabtree. I said they're going to get another receiver. Now they got Crabtree and Cooper at the wideout spots. Next notable player that some of you might know, because after you get past Jameis and Marcus, a lot of the names fall off. Todd Gurley going to the Rams. The Rams now have Gurley and Trey Mason, running back by committee. Very formidable team back there, big and small, both of them fast. Other story out of the NFL draft was La'el Collins, the LSU offensive tackle. He has been questioned by the Louisiana Police Department. 29-year-old pregnant lady was murdered. She was able to deliver the baby in the apartment. He's being brought down. They asked him to lead a draft, or he removed his name from the draft. Based on that, I don't know if they're thinking that maybe he had something to do with it. I'm quite sure they probably are going to give him a DNA test to see if the baby is his, and maybe thinking it's stemming from that kind of situation, like the Ray Caruth.
Right.
What was that? 17 years, what was that, about 98, 99, that Ray Caruth thing went down. If you don't know, Ray Caruth was a receiver for the Panthers. He was out of Colorado. I got a lady pregnant, gave her the money for the abortion. She didn't have the abortion. He set up a murder. Now he's been in prison for like the last 14, 15 years. I think they gave him, 25 years? He might be coming up soon to get out of prison. It's been a long time. Ray's been in there.
Ain't nobody holding their breath.
No, nobody cares. Y'all said Jared was on the line? Jared, are you there?
I am here, Sports Joc.
Good morning to you. Are you happy today?
Good morning.
Are you happy because of the draft?
I am satisfied.
Satisfied. Why are you satisfied? Tell me and Big Kenny why you're satisfied.
Well, like we discussed, I knew they were going to pick Cooper, which is good to combine him with Crabtree. So now we have a double wide receiver threat where, the last couple of years have been throwing to people like me.
Stiffs. Stiffs is what they call you. Stiffs.
Stiffs.
What about the quarterback position? You think that Carr can hold that down?
Yeah, I think Carr. Yeah, I like him. He can throw. He can make any throw. They just got to get him some help. So now they got him some wide receivers now, and they adjust the defensive line. And then I wanted to ask you if they picked a guard. He's an offensive lineman, and he claims he can play every position on the line. Is that meaning he's that good, or is he just like adequate at everything?
That means that probably in his college career he switched around, which means that he's probably not great at one because he's probably not. He probably didn't stay there long. Bruce Matthews, who I've always respected, who went to the Pro Bowl from 3 different offensive line positions. But if you can play left tackle, you can play right. If you play left guard, you can play right guard. The key is playing center. A lot of tackles don't play center in the league, but you always need that versatile guy because after you're starting 5, the 2 backups, you need to be able to put them in anywhere, guard, tackle, and it actually helps the team out when you have that versatile guy that can play center, both guards, or he can play both tackles and a guard because then you can always feel like I don't have to feel pressure if somebody gets hurt. So it's a good pick if he's versatile like that.
John Feliciano, you heard about him?
Yeah, out of Miami.
4th round pick.
Yeah. What are you setting your fantasy football team, Jared? What's going on this morning?
Draft board. I have my draft board in the living room.
Well, here's
the draft is over.
Here's the key to your success next year. If you can figure out some way to get Trent Richardson to be Trent Richardson that got drafted in the 3rd pick. If you can get him to do that with them receivers, you have a successful season. But it's going to be about him being able to run the ball, and hopefully this will wake him up and be the running back we think he can be when you pick 3rd in a draft because this is his last go-round. But that'll take pressure off your quarterback and being able to run the ball. Excuse me?
Over 500?
Excuse me?
Oh, you said a successful season. You talking about over 500?
Well, for the Raiders, a successful season is over 500.
Yeah, 9-7. I mean, is a great season from where you're coming from.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
From why are you in the league to 9-7 would be a win.
And hey, you in the same ballpark as us. Calm down.
Hey, we ain't talking about the Jets though.
But y'all are in the same ballpark.
Hey man, I said we ain't talking about the Jets. Y'all don't listen when I be saying stuff.
We're gonna go to Ray. Thank you for calling in, Jared.
All right. Take it easy.
We're going to talk to Mr. Bryson. What do we have? Bryson, what's his last name there? Worley. Golf expert, Gainesville High School. He's the coach down there. Golf. Tiger Woods breakup. See if he even cares. Let's see. We'll be back more on the Sports Joc Show in just a second. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. It's been a wild past 4 or 5 days in sports. As I said, the NFL draft. Did your team get its favorite player? Do you feel confident the guy that you drafted now can put you over the top? I definitely here in Atlanta would have liked to see the Falcons draft Todd Gurley. They went with a project, which most of these players are projects because, as you can see, in definitely professional basketball and in football, a lot of early entries, a lot of people leaving after their redshirt sophomore year, which means that they're limited in their ability or knowledge of the game. I mean, when you look at Jameis Winston, he played 27 college games. Now, he was 26-1 in those games. But that's all the football he's played in his college career. And when you throw that against someone like a Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, who were there their whole time, a lot of your greats were in college long. So a lot of people don't like to give credit to that. But I feel like certain things that you're trying to remove once you become a pro, those junior and senior years in college removes them for you. So if you'd have asked me, I would have sent Jameis Winston back because regardless, I felt like he was going to be the first-round pick because of his size and, he can't make all the throws. But he has gone. There has to be a learning curve, and I think that's why you see so many first-rounders disappear. It's like you can't even remember these people because they're not ready for the league. And the league don't wait. They don't wait. That's the thing. They go,
Cupcake.
They go find the Julian Edelmans from some little college somewhere. Hey, you want and put him at receiver. And while you're trying to figure it out, he's out there performing. And next thing you know, you're sitting in front of somebody's facility with a faith tent and
asking, can you get a workout? And that's the thing. A lot of what they also lack in skill set and preparation on the field, they also lack in maturity and willingness to put in the work and willingness to listen to someone who knows and humble themselves in an effort to learn. They want to go in and be the man right off the bat when that was the college atmosphere. You go to the NFL, all of these dudes are super fast, super strong, and super athletic. You're thinking about your Pac-12 conference and how you were a beast, and this is the NFL, man.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't wait for anybody. Speaking of coaching and speaking of education, Big Kenny, we have Coach Bryson Worley on the line. He's the Gainesville High School head men's golf coach. He's also, Big Kenny, the assistant principal, and he also, Big Kenny, is the assistant athletic director. A man of many hats, or he just doesn't like to spend time away from the school.
You must be Jamaican, man. You have many job.
Mr. Bryson Worley. Good morning to you, Bryson.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you.
I got a lot of titles. I'm pretty busy.
A lot of titles. Which of these 3 jobs at the school is the hardest?
Depends on the day. I would say probably assistant principal is probably the hardest one I'm on, but I like all of them. I like being around kids, or I wouldn't do what I do, so they're all good.
Right, because I'm quite sure the golf player is a little calm, but when the little tough pickup truck guy come into the office, you want to choke him, and you have to keep yourself calm, though.
That's right.
It's okay.
You definitely learn that.
Coaching golf in high school, how hard is it? Are the players? My daughter plays tennis, and she went to the school already playing tennis. Is golf like that? Or that where the player already comes, or do people come to the high school and want to join the golf team and never really played the game?
I think it depends on the school. At Gainesville, school's been here a long time, got a long-standing tradition of golf, so it's here the kids kind of come kind of ready to go, and we're involved in our middle school program and even younger than that here. You may have some schools where kids are just getting involved, and you just have to know that as a coach going in, what's the skill set of my feeder program and those types of things, and kind of go from there. But there are definitely schools where kids are just coming out for the first time and trying to learn the game. It's kind of hard to do in a tournament situation, if you're putting them in go throw them in a match or a tournament. It's kind of hard, kind of fix the plane while it's in the air type scenario. It's kind of hard to do that for them to learn as much as they can before they get to that point. But, as long as they're getting involved and getting introduced to the game, I think it's always positive.
Coach Worley, hold on 1 second. My producer is saying we're going to call you right back. The connection is going in and out on our end. Is my mic still hot? No, okay.
Once again, proof that this is a live show.
How would I know that my mic is still hot? Y'all looking at me like I didn't say anything. It's always y'all fault. If y'all remember that, never mind.
Listen, because we don't push buttons.
Because I don't push no buttons.
We don't push buttons on this end. We just, they don't even let us touch the mic. They just tell us to talk.
This is just a prop right here. It's not even going on. I'm still a pen and paper over here. This is just a prop.
You gave away all our behind the curtain secrets now. Magician not supposed to. They don't know that these are empty laptop cases. These are just cases with no screen.
Coach Worley, are you there?
Yeah, you got me now?
Yes, there you go. You've had a lot of success in high school. 7 championships as a team, 8 individual championships. How hard is it to get a scholarship in golf out of high school?
Yeah, it's actually pretty hard. The good players are going to get taken care of. I'm lucky enough to have one now that committed to the University of Georgia as a sophomore, and golf tends to happen early, but there are a lot of golf's a pretty hard sport, especially at the tournament level, and there's a lot of really good players in the United States, and even now, across the world that are coming to the United States to get scholarships. So it's pretty competitive, and it's hard for those college coaches because some of these kids are late bloomers, and they may go unnoticed for such a long time. So it's definitely difficult, especially those guys that want to go or girls that want to go to the Division I level. There's just such a big pool now, and just not so many scholarships, but it's still doable. And if you set your, sometimes I tell my guys, if you set your expectations a little bit lower than University of Georgia or Georgia Tech, you may end up a little bit better as far as more offers and even happier. So,
Coach Worley, this is Big Kenny. 7 team championships, 8 individual. How many Division I schools like the Georgia Techs and the Georgias have been knocking on your door asking for you to come coach at the college level?
It doesn't happen like that. I wish they would, but you kind of have to get into the college. The kind of way the college deal works is you have to kind of get in there and pay your dues, and that's just something I haven't done. I've enjoyed the high school level and enjoyed the program where I am and love where I live, so that's a big part of it. But down the road one day, I wouldn't mind maybe exploring that option, maybe in a smaller school and go from there.
Coach, do y'all work out as a team? Do y'all have like some kind of training program,
Yes, we actually do. We work out in the mornings, and then depending on the time of year, what we do and what each kid needs is pretty individual because obviously Tiger kind of set the bar, early the late '90s, early 2000s with fitness, and now if you're not in shape, you're so far behind, and not just in shape but moving well and strong, and the game's a power game now, just like a lot of other sports. So, yeah, we definitely have a strength conditioning program to get those guys and girls ready. So.
What is the size of a golf team and the supporting staff? How many coaches, how many players travel to these tournaments?
Typically in high school golf in Georgia, you play 5 or 6 players, and they count the best 4. This is guys. The best 4 scores that day is the team score. Girls are 4 count 2 scores or 3 scores. And I carry 12 guys right now. I have a lot of times I'll try to enter in 2 teams in a tournament. We play all tournaments, and then I have an assistant with me that travels. So we've got a good 14 person group traveling. So it's kind of an undertaking to take 12 high school kids 5 or 6, 7 times during the year across the state and across the southeast. So it's kind of an undertaking, but it's good.
Coach, last question before I let you go. Have you ever had that raw player? You always hear about it in football, basketball, even baseball. The kid didn't pick up the bat until he was a junior in high school, or he never played football until he was a senior, and then next thing you know, he's leading some NFL team. Have you ever come across a case like that? A kid never even really played golf, never been on a golf course until he was 15, 16, and then he went on to actually become one of your top players?
Not for me necessarily, but there was a guy at Georgia Tech named Kyle Scott. He's from South Africa, and I, make a long story short, got to know him before he transferred from West Florida to Georgia Tech. And in South Africa, I think he grew up playing baseball or cricket or something. Who knows? And then he graduated high school and just kind of played golf for a little while and ended up getting good enough for running his way to the United States, West Florida, and then kind of grew from there and ended up at Georgia Tech. Now he's playing professionally. And, there are definitely cases like that where guys, great athletes have earned their way. But, tournament golf, PGA Tour is so hard. You're going against guys that have been playing tournament golf their whole life, and it's a hard nut to crack, that's for sure.
Are you a fire and brimstone type coach, or are you the players type coach?
I got a football background in college and things, and golf too. But I used to be a fire brimstone guy a little bit more, but now I've definitely mellowed out as I've gotten older, and just really try to understand and develop relationships with his kids, and figure out what each kid what makes them tick. I feel our coach, my assistant, and I joke all the time that we're more psychologists than we are coaches. You're always trying to little psychology tricks to make the kids comfortable on the course or under pressure and those types of things. But it's definitely a challenge every day.
Yeah, I don't think that Nick Saban approach will work on a golfer. You can't just go out there
and then later they have to come in the office and see you as vice principal. Huh?
Yeah, they better not come see me. That's well.
I heard that, Coach. Well, thank you for calling in and helping us with the show.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
Okay, Coach Bryson Worley, Gainesville High School head men's golf coach, assistant principal, and athletic director. So you people that don't have no job, hey, take that. We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank Gainesville High School head men's golf coach, Mr. Bryson Worley. As me and Dick Kenny were talking during the break, it's funny when the question was asked, had he ever thought about becoming a college coach in golf? It doesn't work like that in football, whereas Gus Malzahn, who was really just a big-time high school coach over in Arkansas, got a big name for having this offense in high school, got an offensive coordinator job at Auburn, won a national championship, went to Arkansas State, came back. So he basically went from making $50,000 in high school to making $5 million in college. Whereas it sounds like Bryson is, Coach Worley is saying that's not how it's going to work in golf. You're going to have to meet somebody, know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Like, isn't that what Trick Daddy said? Yeah, y'all thought I forgot all that. I got my roots, man. I know my music. But thank you, Coach, for calling in. And like I said, very successful golf coach in high school. And I just always wondered in both sports. Earlier when we talked to Coach Ratliff about how many players just show up, because I'm from the era you might not even get involved into a sport until high school. And now you see that a lot of these programs, players already come there knowing how to play, which I'm quite sure makes it easier to coach in that kind of situation, especially technical sports like golf. I don't know if you would even have that kind of time to actually teach a person golf on just high school hours. That's be hard to do. But it is the top of the hour. It's the 11 o'clock hour, which means that I am lost in my show. We've had a lot of guests on the show. We do have Doug Fireball Turnbull coming up in a bit. See what he has to say. He sent a Facebook post saying we forgot about him. So we're going to see what's been going on in the NASCAR circuit. We're coming, Fireball. We're coming real quick. I went to see the Avengers, Age of Ultron. Oh, you got that? They were telling me about this reality show called Short Game. Let's see Short Game. I'm looking for some short people now. Don't have some tall people on Short Game.
10 and a 12, no more than that. Do not give it extra juice. It's hard to be a caddy daddy. If it's a good shot, it's his shot. If it's a bad shot, I give him the wrong club.
You never told me don't give it extra juice. Don't give it in.
You're very depressed, honey.
If you're not looking at the Sports Joc page, it's a reality show. Parents are the golf coaches.
Y'all gonna win no world championship.
All I remember as a kid was how hard I was coached.
How much money did you throw at this? Do you sell the house?
Our belief from day one was to give Max the confidence to make his own decisions on the course.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Packers.
This is probably the first year I think I'd actually give him a chance. And Pinehurst is the junior golf.
So basically, they have now, they make a reality show out of anything, won't they? They done found some little tots out there swinging the golf clubs. That one that's pointing at his daddy, better watch out for him. He gonna, he looked like he was like 9. Like, hey, you don't never tell me what to do. I guess he ain't gonna be his caddy long when he make it to the pros. Short game, and you said there's a Friday night tights. So they have a lot of little young sports shows. Who knew? What channel is that? What is that? X-Wired? Oh, you've heard of that? Oh, I've never heard of that. I need to check. What is that in the 200 section on DirecTV? Oh, y'all got Comcast. Okay, I got DirecTV. Anybody find that on DirecTV? Let me know so I can check out the Esquire channel. My TV only goes to like 3 channels. So it's football, basketball, baseball, tennis. Football, basketball, baseball, tennis, DVR. You know, that's how I watch shows. That's how I called the Kentucky Derby. DVR'd it. Because it was like a 3-hour long thing for a 2-minute race. I was like, well, how many commercials can you show for 3 hours to show a 2-minute race at the end? I can't wait to get the horse interview at the end. They should put a mic and see what he has to say. No? Y'all ain't with that? See what the horse has to say? What do you have? American Pharaoh. What do you have to say? No? Yeah, see these people, they in here, they so serious around here. All these Republicans in the building. Yeah, the Republican. Some of y'all try to act like y'all are Democrats, but y'all are Republicans. It's okay. Join the dark side. Birthdays last week. Jay Cutler of the Bears, 32. Master P, 48. Jay Leno, 65. Too Short, 49. Blake Bortles of the Jags, 23. Andre Agassi, as we spoke, was at the fight with his lovely wife, 45. Golden State's David Lee. Golden State big over Memphis yesterday, 32. Lloyd Banks, 33. Luis Scola of the Houston. No, Luis is in Indianapolis now. He plays for the Pacers. He's 35. Brandon Bass of the Celtics, 30. Paul George, 25. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, 43. Which college did The Rock play for? The U. He was a defensive end for the Miami Hurricanes. James Harrison of the Steelers, 37. Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons, 54. Wes Walker, whose horse came in second. We got a picture of Wes and his horse. He's in the Kentucky Derby. A lot of the Patriots players were down there. Wes Walker of the Broncos. Seems like he still has his connect with his Patriot brothers. 34 years old. David Beckham, 40. Thabo Self-Alocious, 31. Victor Alamandipo, 23. Damon Dash, 44. Aaron Andrews, 37. Rory McIlroy, 26. And smoke 2 times. Willie Nelson had his 82nd birthday. Y'all think Willie got high on his 82nd? Look at it. Look at me. What do you mean? 82 years old. We have a picture of Wes Walker. That is Wes in those nice pink pants. And that is his horse, Firing Line. Came in second. Must have been an undercard. It wasn't the 12-1 odds. And that's his buddies of the Patriots. That's Pretty Tom in the middle. They jet setting. That's how Pretty Tom do it. Ain't nothing wrong with the entourage, Tom. I see you there, Tom. Tom looked like he had been partying all day when they showed him at the Mayweather fight. He was sweating, and I figured him and Jordan had probably just smoked one up in the luxury suite since they've been hanging out lately. Tom's wife is on the cover of the Vogue magazine down in Brazil. She was not in attendance to the fight. That is Gisele Bündchen. Tall and slim. Model. She's a model. Looks great, though, for 2 kids. I mean, hey, for 2 kids, that looks, you know. Look how these married guys are looking. Yeah, my 2-kid wife ain't looking. She looks good. She's like 5, 10? almost, yeah, she's up there. Vogue magazine, Brazil, making a lot of money. Probably made about 5-6 million for that spread, you know. But Giselle Bouchin, but Big Kenny, we got an hour left in the show.
You said they start interviewing the horse. I can see that now. American Pharaoh, you just won the Kentucky Derby. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to do like a jockey and mount me a filly. What else can I do? I'm a horse. It's the only excitement I have. You know that's why I run to win, because after this, I'll just be a stud.
A stud. Just get set out the pasture. Just have them. They bring them to me.
They bring them to me.
Yeah.
The pick of the litter, they just bring them on.
You just happen to turn around. Like, what's she doing in here? Like, you know.
And all the old horses be standing on the fence like, look at that stallion right there. God, you look like a horse on roller skates. Well, you are a horse on roller skates.
I wonder what the old pack horse be. He be mad at that stallion, don't he?
Well,
he over there pulling the cart.
I would
and they
imagine,
over there brushing him and fine tuning his nails. You ever seen them horses?
Oh yeah.
I mean that thing is. You can tell it's been treated with some love and care.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And now some of that I'm sure is just posturing on the part of the owners. I really don't think a horse needs his hoofs buffed, but the same dude that came up with the chicken taco biscuit and the Money Mayweather mouthpiece was sitting around like, you know what a horse really needs? A pedicure. And somebody was like, wow, that's a genius idea. And he looked at his brothers like, we on a roll, player.
I mean, they was looking immaculately. I don't even know how you get that. I mean, they got the hair trim. They look like $1 million horses.
And who do you think was the first person that decided they were going to make an industry out of grooming racehorses? Hey, what we'll do is we'll go to races and make them pretty. Because who doesn't want a pretty horse? You know what I mean? And so somebody goes, yeah, that makes sense. A haircut, a nice
and
style.
you are so right. Win a couple of races, man. You live a good life after that. You just get out, put out the pasture to breed and eat. Nobody don't ever ride you anymore. You know, they just come out there and rub on you.
Only time you see humans is when your owner brings them out to the pasture and point at the reason I got all this money. You see them right out there? You see that big house up on the hill? He bought it right there.
AP, come here, AP. AP, come here, man.
And the horses don't even know his name because he a horse. You know what I'm saying? Just walking around like they keep making this noise and the hand motion, and I don't know what that means. Unless someone gets on my back and kicks me in the side, I don't know what to do.
Why you so late with my Granny Smith, man? I told you I wanted a whole bucket full of Granny Smith.
And somebody's getting fired behind that.
We'll be back. Our man Doug Fireball Turnbull right after this. More of the Sports Joc Show. 888-926-7562. Give us a call if you want to talk.
And the Ad Council.
Players Lounge. You have been given full access to the Players Lounge on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Before I bring the notorious fire to the ball on the show, our man Doug Fireball Turnbull, I guess he probably going to go download that too soon. He think that's his track, the notorious Fireball.
Where do you get a nickname like Fireball?
There's probably some alcohol drink stored behind it, trust me. That's why you don't drink anymore. Something to do with that Fireball. That was the last time you had a drink.
Either that or you were on that Fireball drink and picked the wrong one at the club. You know what I mean?
Real quick before, there's a couple news and notes. The Avengers movie, $180 million. Anybody see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Good Times is going to be a movie. Anybody interested?
You mean just looking out of the window?
Yeah,
Good Time with Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Who's going to play Thelma, you think?
Beyonce.
No.
No?
No. She ain't got Thelma. She ain't Thelma. We talking about Thelma.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
I could see her before I could see Beyonce. She at least she has the profile.
They get Idris Elba to be JJ.
No. You gotta go with somebody. You gotta go. They probably gonna have to go and find a JJ. Maybe a Jay Farrow from Saturday Night Live could pull off JJ.
They get Monique to be the wife. Monique
to be Florida Evans. I don't know. I'd have to hear her go damn.
And they get Morgan Freeman to be. I mean, not Morgan Freeman. Samuel to be the daddy.
JJ, you need to get in here now. I'm gonna whoop you for hanging out with the Junior Warlords.
Oh, man. Well, yesterday, Talladega, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins Talladega. We wanted to talk to our man Fireball, who hit me up on Facebook to tell me it's time to get the Fire to the Ball back on the show. Good morning to you, Fireball.
Hey, what's going on, man? Catch your breath. Y'all having too much fun for a Monday there. I like it.
Did you ever used to watch Good Times?
I know of it. I don't know if I ever watched it on the regular, but y'all are doing a pretty good job in there.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either, so we're in the same boat. It was too much of that dynamite stuff going on for me.
It was about a poor black family in the projects. I was
living that.
Yeah,
I was living that life.
I didn't need to tune in on Wednesday nights. I just opened my eyes on any morning, and I was just looking out of the window.
Well, Fireball, the biggest story before the race last week was Danica Patrick being dropped by GoDaddy after the season.
Well, sort of. Danica Patrick's race car was dropped by GoDaddy. Danica Patrick will continue to have a personal services contract with GoDaddy, and so they're going to need a sponsor to keep her in the race car, but she'll still get to be at GoDaddy commercials, and God knows what else they'll have her doing. So it is kind of bad. It's an iconic looking race car, even though she's only been in NASCAR since 2010, and I think been with GoDaddy on a race car since about 2008 or so. But GoDaddy is trying to diversify what they're marketing, and it just didn't work out.
So they basically hiring her for what they always wanted to hire for, and that's just to be a pretty woman.
Well, GoDaddy wants her. She's a famous name, and she's done well in their commercials. She's one of the most recognizable female athletes. We're not going to debate about race car drivers and athletes, so I'm just going to say athletes, all right? But she is one of the most recognizable female sports figures in America. You put her right up there with the Mount Rushmore of current female sports personalities and athletes. She's right up there. So it does make sense for them and for her to both stay affiliated with that, but it stinks that her race team is now going to be scrambling to find a sponsor. And you know what happens? If she doesn't have a sponsor, she doesn't go racing. It's not like she's going to pay out of her pocket. And if she's not going to get hired right now based on raw talent, I mean, she has gotten better, but she is not an elite talent in the Sprint Cup Series. So she's not just going to find her way into a ride because of her driving ability right now, and that's how the sport is for men and women.
And so to the question, they just wanted her because she was a good-looking woman. That's a yes. We would imagine. Right? Yeah.
I'd say a recognizable name, and yes, an attractive woman. Yeah, but she's been with them a long time. She has brand identity built up with that brand. It's not like she could switch to Outback Steakhouse or I'm just looking at something right now, Carrabba's or something to just be that person. She's been with GoDaddy a while, so yeah, that's the deal with that.
Now, with her, you just said probably not picking up a ride immediately. Has she done enough winning? Well, I'm sure she hadn't done enough winning. Has she been made credible enough that she could go into broadcasting NASCAR events?
She's actually supposed to be part of the Fox Sports broadcasting team for at least one Xfinity Series, which is NASCAR's AAA Series race. They're putting her in the booth just like they've done with Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski. They actually have Danica slotted for a race coming up pretty soon. I can't remember which one it is. So she could do it, and she has a great personality. She's really good on the microphone, but she's not retiring. This isn't over with. I mean, they're going to find sponsorship, and she will be in a ride somewhere next year. It will happen. It may not be with the same Stewart-Haas racing team, though.
Well, how does that work? And before we move on to the Talladega, how does it – because – I'm going to still think that with her being with GoDaddy, that's who she's selling. Why would I want to sponsor her as another driving company?
Well, you could be assured that another website hosting domain company will not be sponsoring her. That just won't happen.
Okay.
But there are plenty of companies that know Danica Patrick that even she might have a relationship with. And we've seen other companies own those race cars before. The lay of the land in NASCAR now is it often takes several sponsors to put you in for a full season. It's not the days where you just have the Budweiser car, the Tide car, or whatever. A lot of drivers have, even the top name drivers have multiple sponsors that are on for 10 races each or 3 or 4 races each, however it works. So in Danica's case, she has Aspen Dental is one I could think of off the top of my head, and she also has a tax company that's been on her car. Quicken Financial, I think Quicken has been on her car. So maybe those sponsors will step up a little more. No, some others kick in some money, and that could keep her in the number 10. If not, there may be another sponsor that already has a driver that says, wait a second, Danica Patrick's available. She's a free agent. Man, I might go after her. Maybe I want her driving the, I'm just going to name one. It doesn't mean it's up for grabs, the Aaron's car, the Caterpillar car. So the companies will want her. I don't expect her to be going away.
Got you. Dale Jr. winning over at Talladega, the Geico 500. Tell us about the race.
Yeah, the race was exciting until the very end, honestly. At the end, it kind of died down. But the race saw a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing the entire time. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., his teammates Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson were all at the front almost until the very end. Pretty much what it boiled down to is there was a big wreck on lap 47, 15 cars involved. It took out several big-name drivers. And then the race kind of calmed down a little bit, but it started building up. But then there was a caution. Austin Dillon in the 3-car blew an engine. The car caught fire. And it was right as pit stops were beginning, and Jeff Gordon kind of made an evasive action there, distracted by the caution, and sped on pit road. And so he went from the lead and had to restart about 30th, never gained it back, and then he got wrecked on the last lap. And it turned out Dale Earnhardt Jr. was up there to assume the point, and he won for the first time at Talladega since 2004. And I'm trying to think of one time that I've ever seen him shed tears. He's usually very calm publicly, and he was not only happy but also tearful at victory lane because Dale Earnhardt, his dad, is the winningest driver in Talladega history, and it was just his 64th birthday would have been this past Wednesday. So Dale Earnhardt Jr. has now got a chase playoff berth. He's the 8th different driver to win in 10 races this season. That's pretty remarkable. And NASCAR season turns along, another exciting Talladega weekend.
Fireball, I just got an interesting question from our bad producer. He says between Dale Earnhart Jr. and his
producer, what's up, man?
he still hangs out. We just don't let him talk.
Man, if you let bad producer talk, it's over with. Y'all ain't gonna get another word in edgewise.
and he's saying that between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his dad, they've won there over 16 times. Can we rename Talladega Earnhardt Raceway or Speedway?
The Earnhardt 500.
Yeah,
I think everybody would be okay with that because Dale Earnhardt, there is no name, even though they're North Carolina bred, there is no name bigger at Talladega than Dale Earnhardt, whether it's junior or senior. And the Talladega race fans are just Earnhardt kind of people, blue collar, down to earth, southern crazy. You know, that's just how it is. And so Dale Earnhardt Jr. and I wasn't at the race Sunday, but I've been there when he takes the lead, and you would have thought that everybody had just found a $1,000 bill under their seat. The place goes ecstatic. So he's certainly, to see him at victory lane again at a place that he had 5 wins and won 4 in a row back before 2004, and then to see him go so many years without winning there, and 11 years later to finally get that win back is pretty incredible.
One writer is calling him Redneck Jesus.
I'm not touching that, but sure. I mean, you know, he definitely energizes a certain sector of the more, I'd say, kind of old school race fans, man. So yeah, for
Redneck
sure.
Jesus.
Yeah, Ryan McGee of the ESPN magazine.
I wish I had come up with that. That was wow.
That's great. Well, Ryan McGee, for those, if you want to learn more about racing, guys, read Ryan McGee. He's excellent. He really has a good understanding of the sport, and it's not just centered around the sport. He kind of has a history in it. He's very good. So, and I'm writing up something right now. I'll have it up hopefully in an hour or two on my race blog, WSURadio.com, recapping this race, and you can learn about some of the others that we missed since we got to talk.
And there's one thing that I must call you on, Fireball, and I know you know all things NASCAR, and I only know like 0.00001 of what you know about NASCAR, but there is a bigger name at Talladega, and it's called Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake, Sports Joc. Shake and bake, baby.
in 2006, I think Ricky Bobby did surpass Dale Earnhardt. That's correct. That movie is hilarious. Yeah.
So your knowledge of wrestling, Mr. Fireball, is not what it should be.
It is not. Ricky Bobby.
Where are the next week, Fireball? Before we let you go, where is NASCAR going?
It's Saturday night, Kansas Speedway, 1.5 mile track again. We'll see who is on top after a big weekend here.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Fireball. Doug Fireball Turnbull. Anything you want to know, he knows it, and that is for real. He is Mr. Know-It-All of all things NASCAR.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy, sitting here with the funny man, Big Kenny. We are almost off the air. We are here until noon. We'd like to thank Doug Fireball Turnbull for calling in NASCAR report. Ryan McGee, that redneck Jesus thing is funny. I must say it is very funny. Before I go any further in the show, though, I want to give a shout out to two kids from my little city of Haines City. They got drafted this weekend, both in the 4th round. Running back Carlos Williams from Florida State. They did drop those DUI charges. And if you listened to the Sports Joc Show 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was telling you about the Little Debbie cakes. If you didn't, go back and listen to that show. And I told you Mr. Gunner, who owned the pig pen, we would sneak up there and get his cakes. His grandson, Rodney Gunner, drafted out of Delaware State to the Cardinals, defensive tackle. So, you know, things come full circle.
So that slop has its purpose. You know what I mean? We might be stealing food from swine, but we go to the NFL. That's something you can bet in Haines City.
Both of them 4th round, so I'll be calling you next year to chip in on the camp. It's okay.
And how could you not? How could you not?
Oh, man. One thing unrelated to sports, but kind of related to sports because of the price tag on it. This picture, Pablo Picasso, for you people out there that just got money that you don't need. Women of Algiers, version O, Big Kenny. They're figuring it's going to fetch $140 million tomorrow. I guess in art, you're supposed to see the beauty. What is all that?
Well, it's called Women of Algiers, and I'm thinking for $140 million, do you know how many real women from Algiers that we could actually import human women who are put together all in one complete piece instead of having these fragmented broads on a canvas, you know what I mean? And probably save about $139 million.
140.
But I'm frugal. That's just me. I don't know. I believe in the value of a dollar.
140 million. I don't know, man. For 140, like, you got to hire a guy that he has to walk around town always showing you this picture. Because it can't be this thing that occasionally people see that come over to the house.
The only benefit in having it is when you're walking through the house and you're going, yeah, so that horse won the Kentucky Derby for me, and that thing right there, yeah, I sold that mouthpiece to Floyd Mayweather, and here's my $140 million Picasso. And everybody goes, whoa, and you think that was money well spent. And then you go to showing them other stuff. Here's the idea I came up with, the chicken taco biscuit. and that's just how it would have to be that.
Right. It has to be that.
Because after a while, you would wake up and go, yeah, there go my pain again.
Yeah. Earlier, we were talking about the riots up in Baltimore, and the Orioles did host a home game last Wednesday. They were, I want to say, they're playing the White Sox in this game. They, as you can see, the stadium is empty. They went on and they canceled the first game, which was Tuesday, and this game they held, and the two teams just played. It looks like a practice. Nobody was allowed in the stands in the stadium. Because of security purposes, which is understandable. At first, they thought about moving the series down to St. Pete to Tropicana Stadium. But then they decided, hey, we'll just play the game, get it out the way. We got 150 more to go. So we'll just get this one out the way and keep it moving. But you can see how the riot even affected sports in a big way.
I'm sure the white fans were like, "Dude, we're safe. you can let us in. We're not mad about anything. We just want to watch the game.
We're not protesting at all.
We're not protesting. The only thing we're protesting is these huge ticket prices. Just let us get a 38-ounce beer and a $50 hot dog. And
lock us in here with you.
Yeah,
how about that? Let us stay here with you.
We're scared too.
Some big names were at the fight, and some big names got together to watch the fight together. In this photo, you see Carmelo Anthony in the middle, D. Wade to the right of him, and to the left of him, Kanye Yeezus West. They all have their wives. If you don't know their wives, the one in the blue is Gabrielle Union. The one in the middle is Lala Vasquez, and as you know, the contraband, what's her name? Kim K. Right there, the Kanye's left. But they decided not to worry about being in traffic and just hang out. My biggest thing is, D. Wade, you might get sued, Playboy, because those are Jordans on your feet. And the last time I checked, you signed with a Japanese or Chinese shoe company. I don't know if they're going to like that now.
And I got a question. You don't think that they could have afforded the fight at their own homes? You know what I'm saying? Would a D. Wade call up like, "Man, I got the fight. Whew, save me that expense." Kim, pack up. We going over D. Wade's house.
Well, you know, fights, everybody like to get together. It's it's a good thing to sit around. But they are hanging, and D. Wade probably trying to recruit Carmelo or vice versa to get a team together. Hey, man, we got to take down this dude, the King, man. It's going to take a joint effort. Batman-Superman connection right there.
Oh, so now D. Wade against him that he gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, Carmelo.
As I told you, the Spurs-Clippers game, if you missed it, Game 7, that was Saturday. It was 200 times better than the fight. It was exciting. The stars showed up. Tim Duncan, Carmelo Anthony. At the age of 39, Tim Duncan was the oldest player ever to score 25 points and 10 rebounds. Everybody was playing. It wasn't one of those games that nobody showed up. Every star showed up to play their part. Chris Paul just happened to hit a shot with 1 second to go on the clock that was like desperation. If you go back and see the shot, he just threw it up on the glass, and it went in. Tim Duncan and the boys, who have no reason to hang their heads. Tim Duncan has 5 NBA championships, and considered
that's D's meaning.
Yeah,
for the people at home,
yes,
that are watching, that's D's many championships,
and considered the greatest power forward by a lot of other power forwards to ever have played the game. Hanging out with some of his teammates. Let's see Tim and the boys after being drunk somewhere.
What up, dog? Great game, man.
That's Patty Mills.
Woo!
He's still in L.A., look like. Getting it in.
Woo!
Patty Mills. I can't tell who that is. Patty Mills has Boris Diaw right there in your screen.
You think everybody's coming back?
Got his chest hair out.
No idea.
Free. He's a Frenchman.
You played fantastic. You guys deserve it, Brett, man. Have a good night.
And somewhere Tim comes through. To go Tony Parker. Somebody asked him a stupid, evil question. Tell him, Tony, you a pimp, man. You don't be sweating no women.
Evil was yesterday.
And here's Tim, like Tiago Splitter with him. Tim
and they holding up Tiago Splitter.
Tim got his shirt off and the wife beater. What's going on, Tim? They think you corny, man. You ain't supposed to be showing them.
You guys played great, man. Nice, man.
This is classic. Tim having to carry him to the bus. See, all y'all thought Tim was just a cornball sitting at home reading poetry. Tim gets it in. When you get down, for you people that don't know, when a pimp gets down to his wife beat in the club, that means he was getting it in. He got hot.
Because that's not a normal motion for men in the club. You know what I'm going to do? Take my shirt off. It's only on a case-by-case need basis when you come out your shirt down to the wife beater.
Oh, man.
And you have really arrived when you know that TMZ is outside and you still come out hammered.
And for you people out there like, oh, didn't they lose? No, they've won 5 championships in the last 15 years. You find another team that's done that. They don't have nothing to hang their head on, and they represent it. And that's why I said, if you saw the game, they just lost. It wasn't one of those they got beat. They just lost. They took a good Clipper team to the brink of destruction.
And I'm sure somebody on the Spurs was like, hey, we might have lost the game, but can you take these shots, Trick? and invited all of them, Blake and Chris and all of them to the bar. I bet you can't take these shots.
Not to be outdone, Dennis Rodman celebrated his birthday out at Vegas.
Hold up, Sports Joc. It was my birthday.
Yeah, Dennis, it was your birthday.
But I'm not gay.
Yeah, Dennis, we were talking about your birthday.
I'm not gay, but I'm not gay. Do you know what he did? Do you know what the man did?
He tried to throw you a birthday party?
United we stand, provided we fall.
Okay. But you did have a birthday party in Vegas.
Kim Jong-un is a very good friend of mine. Yes, he did.
We'll show that on the other side of the break.
And just imagine, the world is coming to an end when Tim Duncan has his clothes off drunk and Dennis Rodman's just having a regular birthday party. We're all going to die.
That and much more coming up. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show in just a second. D-Rod. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. We were talking about Pablo Picasso's Women of Algiers, $140 million, will be up for auction tomorrow if you have that kind of coin. $1.32 million last week. Hannes Wagner's baseball card went for. It was the condition was of 3 out of 10, 10 being the best condition, and it still went for $1.32 million. An 8 condition Hannes Wagner baseball card in 2008 went for $2.8 million. Whoever knew those baseball cards, I guess Topps and whoever else makes baseball cards knew. But it's once again something that I got to walk around and show you for that kind of money. Everybody I meet needs to see that's what your screensaver is, this card. I mean, everywhere you go. Forget looking at your children and your dog. Hey, let me show you this $2 million card. You need to see this because that's a lot of money for a baseball card.
What do you do when you walk in one day and your toddler grandson's gnawing on the card? Just then, like, and somebody's sitting there not paying attention to him, like, oh, I didn't know he had grabbed that off the desk. And now you got to kick both of them out the house.
You pull the Adrian Peterson.
And go get a branch.
And toddle your butt out there. You got to learn. You got to teach them something.
That's an expensive lesson.
Former Georgia Tech and NBA player last week went on and took his plea deal. Javaris Crittenton, 23 years he was sentenced to. He pled guilty for the murder of Julian Jones back in 2011. She was a mother of 4. She was 23 years old. His cousin, Douglas Gamble, who's 29, also was sentenced. He only received 3 years, which probably means he probably was just driving the car, and this idiot shot from the back seat.
And their defense was, I wasn't trying to hit her, though. Really? Is that what you're going to go with? I was trying to shoot the person with her.
He even made a statement when he stood up talking about once he got to the NBA, he joined the game for protection. I don't know what that means, who joins gangs with NBA contracts after I got the contract?
I'm saying that's when you can pay for security. I would imagine. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can get your Kevin Costner on.
You can hire you a legitimate
Bodyguard.
security firm instead of buying all those ridiculous looking chains.
Plexico Burris was indicted on a new law in New Jersey in which he owed $47,900. His electronic transfer did not go through, and under the new law in New Jersey, it is the same as a bounce check. So don't take it that Plexico won't get out of this. I guess when he sent his transfer, you computer guys, I send paper and a stamp. He was trying to do it over the computer.
Which means you really didn't send it. You know what I mean? That's what that means is I neglected to send it, and I'm going to blame it on the internet.
Is that what it was?
I pay a lot of things by electronic transfer, and they always go through when I actually send them.
John Jones of USC fighting in an interesting twist, not just the hit and run that he had in Albuquerque, but stemming from that, UFC took his belt away. I had never heard that before, where you could lose your belt. He hasn't even been convicted yet. They just went on and took the belt from him. He did turn himself in. It was a hit and run. I'm quite sure it was him because the car was in his name and he ran away, but they just instantaneously took the belt away from him, so he is no longer the champion.
Could you tell us what the suspect looked like who was running away? Well, he was a black guy. He had his shirt off, and he had on some boxing shorts, and he had his hands and his feet wrapped in tape. And then John was like, I wasn't there. Yeah, sure. Okay, John, we're just going to say it looked like you.
Oh, man. Steve Spurrier working out. We were talking about Tim Duncan with his shirt off and his wife beater. Coach of the old ball coach of South Carolina is getting his workout on. Can we see Steve? He's about 70 years old.
It's not quite as easy as it look, I guess.
Trying to stay out there, getting some ab work. It's never too old, fellas.
So I wanted to sit down and talk to him.
Derek,
we did.
It's never too old.
The editors here also thought it would be a neat idea to work out with him. It's something that writers from the state have done before. We know he's a big workout guy.
I see you, old ball coach. That's the secret to staying on that sideline for 40 years, standing up. For you that don't know, Steve Spurrier was a Heisman Trophy winner back at Florida. He was a top-round pick for Tampa Bay, so he was a former NFL player.
In a lot of areas.
Somewhere in here, Steve got hot and decided to take his shirt off and flex for you, Big Kenny.
Is going to ask
just for me?
Just for me.
There he is.
Let's go back to Steve flexing.
Oh, wow. Look at those guns.
That's not bad for 70, though. He got a little tone left in it. I mean, he look better than Deacon Johnson down at the church, dude.
Them guns just firing bean bags now. He just got rock salt in them guns. They ain't blasting nothing no more.
We were talking about Dennis Rodman partying. Let's see what Dennis was doing. He was out in Vegas this past weekend. Remember, he was one of the celebs who was hosting a big party. I think his was at the strip club, though. Jay-Z hosted one as well. D-Rod looking at home. First time I ever met Dennis Rodman was in a strip club in St. Louis. D-Rod making it rain. I see you, D-Rod. Okay.
America is a fantastic country. It really is. Where all your dreams can come true if you work hard enough.
You can cut it. Just showing a little bit of D-Rod out in Vegas doing what D-Rod does. He was sociable and taking pictures and shaking hands. It was his 54th birthday party out in Vegas during the fight weekend.
I'm going to have me a birthday party during the fight weekend, so I'm going to make it a birthday fight party. And I think I want to do it at a strip club. And it happened. Those are the kind of things that you say to yourself, I would do if I could, and he could and did. God bless America.
Yeah, it's a great country.
It's a great country.
Yeah, the only person that found that offensive was the mediocre producer.
And then just the fact that a person like Dennis Rodman was allowed to rent out any public space. The people looked at him and went, we'll take a chance.
Oh, man. Tonight's action in the NBA, Chicago visiting Cleveland at 7. The Clippers and Houston kick it off at 9:30. Both games are on TNT. Word is Chris Paul might have to sit out. If he was watching that game Saturday, he did play about a period and a half with a sore hamstring. MVP seems to be going to Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Coming in second is James Harden, so I'm quite sure Harden tonight will be trying to show why he should have been first. I do think that was the order I would have put him in. I felt like Harden was the offensive player of the year, and Steph was just the overall MVP on that team. Should be a great, if they end up playing each other in the West Final, that should be a great series between Golden State and Houston. LeBron here in this series, and, you know, once again has a chance to show people why he's the king. If he can, without Kevin Love in these first two games, J.R. Smith is sitting out against Chicago. If he can some kind of way get them to just the finals, you have to once again see that he can carry a team. It's not just it's just something about him, and I think he can do it. He went and got Sean Marion. He got Mike Miller. He got some veterans that, hey, I just need 2 or 3 games out you. You know, just
and then Kevin Love, you go and let your shoulder get popped out of socket. Where they do that?
Oh, he had surgery on it too. He supposed to got like 6 months. So
you know, they said there was talk that the Boston player intentionally injured him, like grabbed his arm and jerked it, hoping to hurt him. And I haven't heard anything about any fines or suspensions or punishment.
No, I don't
based
think
on
they,
that. So it must have been a.
He got a 1-game suspension that starts next year because Boston got knocked out, which helps the Cavs. You know, you being suspended for the first game next year helps us out so much in this series.
I've learned my lesson.
I guess the only silver lining in that story is that they have been off for the last 8 days, so guys have had time to figure out their schemes and that kind of stuff, what role they're going to play. It wasn't one of those, he got hurt, and then 2 days later we had to play.
Right.
We've had 8 days to practice what you're going to be doing in this next series. I guess, Big Kenny, we've taken the ride. We've covered all the sports. And
Hawks lost.
Time to cool off. And, the Hawks lost last night to that one good away to John Wall. Ooh, kill them, the Wizards. But we will rise again tomorrow night, the Hawks and Wizards picking it up again. But I guess we'll cool off in the ocean. I got to find somebody to throw in the ocean.
Throw your ass in the ocean. It's time to wrap things up on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
When you hear the sounds of the ocean, it gives the Sports Joc just a minute to vent about last week. We'd like to thank Coach Scott Ratliff for calling in. We also like to thank the Orlando Ledbetter and our man Doug Fireball Turnbull also, and our man Bryson Worley, who is the head coach at Gainesville. He's the men's head coach of golf down there. This past week we had a draft. It was a 2015 draft. This year, we also had 2 years ago, was the 2013 draft. With the third pick, the Miami Dolphins chose a defensive end named Deion Jordan. Mr. Deion Jordan will be missing the 2015 season. He's on his 3rd strike in the NFL. He had a diluted sample, which is a positive test in all sports. When your urine is diluted, he will miss out on $6 million. I thought you people told me that marijuana was not addictive. It must be when you start giving away tens and 20 millions of dollars just to get high. I think that Deion should learn a lesson on his break that football can be taken away from you in a drop of a hat. It doesn't just have to be because of injury. And if you're so stupid to think that your diluted urine will pass, you probably will find yourself in a tent outside of the Dolphins facility very soon. For Big Kenny, oh, we got to throw him. Throw him on down in the ocean.
Walk the plank.
For the funny man, Big Kenny, the Sports Joc, enjoy Cinco de Mayo. Don't forget your free taco biscuit. Peace.